All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, I'm Brother Brian here on KIEZ 106.7 FM, the voice of the community. Hey, I have Mrs. Ellen Hill, one of the, no, the director of planning and urban development, one of the stakeholders from the city of Monroe that said, hey, it's time to make a change. They're not sitting back just talking about it, they're actually making things happen. So, good afternoon, Mrs. Hill. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for accepting my invitation. But let's get right into it. Mrs. Hill, uh, for those who don't really know Mrs. Hill has truly been a stakeholder in this community. As I mentioned before, she's not just talking about what should take place or what should happen from a distance, she's actually making things happen. People who don't know, she served on the city as a city council member for a period of time that deals with the laws. She attends city council meetings. Now she's the director of planning and urban development, and she's talking about home ownership in Monroe. Well, Mrs. Hill, tell us a
Absolutely.
little bit about this event that's taking place on Saturday, April the 23rd, and it's called Home in Monroe.
That's right. That's right. Home in Monroe has been a passion. It's been a project for our department. You know, we recognize that we have a responsibility from our department standpoint, charged by the mayor and city council to look at how can we help our community grow, but more importantly looking at our community members that we have and how do we help them be a part of the growth in our city. And so home in Monroe has been exactly that. The idea is that people ought to be at home in Monroe. They ought to own a home in Monroe. We have to own a stake in our community, right? And so we've been working with the local banks. We've been working with local developers, working on how do we invest in our community? How do we take the federal dollars that we get and invest? How do we support small business? But more importantly, how do we help our families get a home in Monroe? And so Saturday is designed to expose our families that have been working with us through our local bankers. We have over 10 different financial institutions, along with Louisiana Housing Corporation. How many people have heard of Louisiana Housing Corporation? Well, that's a state agency that has funds funneled through the local banks that could actually help a low to moderate income family move from renter to ownership. And so Saturday is all about learning what it takes to move from renter to ownership. You know, that's the big American dream, right? To own your own home.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely right. For those who don't know, Mrs. Hill has always first one of the first intimate times I met her at a meeting. She just mentioned about this just didn't happen overnight. This home in
Oh,
Monroe,
oh,
they've been in the works with their previous administration, with the current administration. I was
absolutely.
part of a class, the local developers. I'm sorry, the neighborhood developers class
That's
back in
right.
2019.
That's
It was
right.
possibly one of the first where it was an 8 to 9 month investment in not developers that are in Mississippi, Arkansas, but right here in the town of Monroe. They invested in us a 15 to 20 thousand dollar training, brought trainers from Southern University, local developers, and
Right.
actually attempted to invest in us to create this big dream for the city of home in Monroe. And through the different administrations, she's still been pushing and fighting for us. So you telling me now, Mrs. Hill, through all of that, all I have to do is attend Saturday because you've talked to the state stakeholders, you've talked to the local banks, you've talked to the local developers, you've talked to the local contractors. All I have to do is show up, and as you being a homeowner, you know that we call that sweat equity. I just have to come there, meet the right individuals, get in place, and get ready to have put that beautiful smile on my face and say, I have a home in Monroe. What
That's
was your
right.
drive for doing that?
Well, ever since I've lived in our community, it's been a concern that we have this growing renter population. but it's not because they all want to rent. It's because we drive around and, there used to be a big drive in this country, you know, 30 years ago to build first time homes for people. And slowly but surely, the industry has gotten away from that. So we're not the only ones in that situation in Monroe. It's all over the country. And so when I came to this position, I came with that commitment that says, if I can do something, if I'm going to change one thing in my community, it means that we're going to create a program to support first-time home buyers. And that's what we've been doing. And, as you said, it's a journey, but it's also a journey to become a homeowner. You don't wake up one day and say, oh, I think I want to buy a house. You know, you wake up one day and say, how do I do that? And then you realize you got to check your credit. You got to make sure you have a stable job. You got to save. So that's what our program tries to do with families, put them in that right mindset, give them the resources or access to the resources, and then support them through that journey. We get community development block grant funds. People can apply to be eligible to get assistance. So we'll have all of that available on Saturday for people to learn more about how can they get support and a partner in not only the bankers and the developers, but also the city. We want to be a partner with our families to move them from renter to ownership. So the Home Expo starts at 10 o'clock. It's at the Monroe Civic Center. We'll spend a few hours learning from each other, and hopefully that pushes more people towards the journey and the ultimate goal of attaining their own home.
Hey, I like that. I like how you presented that. You're talking about partnership. You're right.
Yeah.
Pathway to partnership is
Yep.
through home ownership. And you're
Correct.
right. Because in psychology, there's a gentleman, ex-gentleman, Abraham Maslow, who developed the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the most
Right.
basic need,
Yes.
food, shelter, clothing.
Yeah.
And that comes even before safety and security. So
Yeah.
you're providing the most basic need by being a stakeholder in our community. As you say, partnership. And that's a powerful word.
That's
Partnerships. Not saying you do it. Let's say let's do it together.
Together.
And you say it's
Absolutely.
this Saturday, April 23rd, between the hours of 10 to 1. So look at the psychographic. So when I arrive there, what will I see? What's going on? Because I know it's been the second or third one, right?
It's our first big open one. We did a small one because of COVID. COVID has changed many things we do. And
Absolutely.
so in January we did a mini expo for the folks that were in our program. It was sort of our dry run. We only had a couple of bankers there, but this time it's open to everyone. People can go to the website and register. We want you to register just so we know how much swag we gotta have for
That's right.
everybody, but also we want to make sure that the day is productive. So when you say, what are you going to see? When you come at 10, everyone will get to hear from Louisiana Housing Corporation. They just passed a $75 million bond issue to help low to moderate income folks get mortgages through their program. And so we'll hear from that executive director talking about their program and how you can access those funds. And then they'll go to, we're actually doing it like a little conference. You'll get to go to different breakout workshops, hear directly from the bankers, because the one thing we don't know sometimes is what we don't know, right? How many different programs are out there to help someone transition? But if you never come for the information, you're just not going to know. So we're going to have the bankers all have a chance to talk a little bit about their programs. And then we also have our developers talking about the types of houses they're planning on building, what the price range would be. And then we have the housing counselors, because this doesn't happen overnight. You have to go through a process. We have a housing counseling program. We've partnered with a certified counselor to be available to people who join our program. And so we just want you to look at this as a 3-hour event that's going to be fast-paced, educational, and most importantly, worth your time. We also will have $1,000 giveaway for down payment assistance.
Whoa, look out now.
So,
You caught my attention.
correct. So you just have to come to the expo, learn a little bit about our program, and put your name in the hat for you to be able to get some assistance. Now, somebody might say $1,000 is not a big deal, but when you're buying a home, every penny counts.
Absolutely. There's
Every
a lot of,
penny counts. So
yeah, absolutely.
we just want to make sure we help our families, join the rest of us that are invested in our community. I'm a homeowner in Monroe. I've been here for some time, raised my kids here, so I know how important it is, and I know what pride it gives to say you ride up, and you jump out, and this is home. This is truly home that I own, that I know I can pass it on to my kids if I so desire. You know, but also it's a way. It's the pathway to wealth in America. The majority of us develop wealth through home ownership. It's what we use sometimes for down payments for other things, right? To get those other dreams accomplished. So again, it's just a way to help my fellow residents in our community. And I think it's important. It's an important piece of community safety, community building, community development, community revitalization. It's an important part of being a community member.
Hey, Ms. Hill, you said it so great. Our time is short, and we're going to end it on that. But I will let the people know where is it going to be at, the times again, and also the fee for attending this expo.
Well, the one thing I can say, it's free. Look at that. It is absolutely free. Thanks to a couple of sponsors we got, First Horizon, Origin Bank, and Choosing Independence partnered with us to bring this event for free. It's Saturday, April 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You got to stay for the whole event to get all the goodies that we have to give away, and most importantly, our $1,000 down payment assistance certificate. You got to stay for the whole thing.
Makes sense. Why not? Hey, that's called that sweat equity.
That's
Invest in
right.
our future. Well, Ms. Hill, thank you again for taking a few moments to share with us how the city of Monroe is actually investing in the community. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.